Okay, congratulations on opening the new shop.
Thank you.
This is, I mean, when I was across the street and I looked and I was like, the outside, it's like, wow. And then thank you for the tour. This place is like a mini maze now.
No.
So how long have you, just give people a background, tell people a little bit about the store and, exactly what it sells, because this is something really different. It's not your typical, okay, go and get the latest fashion and...
No, this is a vintage millinery shop. I make hats and fascinators, and I restore vintage. I make costumes. We do very strange and eclectic, wonderful things for people who like to be different. And sometimes you'll find the perfect thing that's just for you, but it will be a one-of-a-kind type of thing. And it could be from the 1920s, it could be from the 1800s, it could be 1975. We have a lot of fun things here where people come in and they stroll down memory lane and they grab something and they say, oh my gosh, I remember this, I remember that, and they pull things out and they have fun and laugh. And
so it's more than just clothing. It's also like you said about the memories and everything else. It's almost like a life.
Right. I had a great childhood. I remember all the fun things, Starsky and Hutch and the Brady Bunch and Star Trek.
Can't forget about the Dukes of Hazzard.
I mean, I wanted to, I pull out a pair of striped bell-bottoms and I'm like, I wore this in 4th grade. And so I have to share that with my customers, and it's fun.
So this has always been your passion.
And it's also very good for the earth to repurpose clothing. I mean, you recycle.
So this has always been your passion, though?
No, I was an accountant for 25 years, and I worked in the corporate world, but I was always an artsy person. I'm a musician, and I like to, I like the creative side. And we went to New Orleans in 2009, and I loved a hat, but it was $700. So my husband said, well, buy it. And I'm like, I'm sure I can make this. So I just started. I self-taught. I have a lot of mistakes in my home. All the good stuff is here.
Yeah, but sometimes that's how everybody learns. I mean, like with myself, I actually tried going to school twice, and I'm not the type even online where I can sit in the classroom. It's like with my magazine, make the mistakes, but I learned it. So sometimes for some people, learning it by doing it is the best way.
Right, and not only that, but I think I have ADD. Like, I'll be learning something in school, and then I'll look over there and I'll say, oh, a squirrel, and my mind is going back and forth, and so this is the best kind of business for me. It's strange, it's unusual. I'm strange, I'm unusual, but I'm wonderful, and it's okay.
Now, I have a quick question about the way you create. I know with some artists, writers, etc., and like with myself, where it's like sometimes it gets started on one project and you hit the creative block, and then it's like, okay, it's some people like to have multiple projects going on, so when they might hit a block on one, they can jump out, is that your style, or is it something different?
I have a lot of things going at one time. I'll start something and then maybe I'll just get sick of it. I'm tired of sewing sequins. So I'll go on something else, and I'll start on something else, and I have an idea over here, and I should at least start it so I don't forget it. And sometimes I'll start with a vision, and then it turns into something else completely different.
Okay.
So I never know.
Now, how did the idea for this, how did the story evolve from the simple idea to, what we see here on Tillman Street in Allentown?
Well, we started...
The hard question.
We started doing the hats in 2009, and we had an online store when I started getting pretty good. And then, I was still working my one job as an accountant, and I was, making hats and on the side. And then in 2012, December of 2012, we went to the Goodbye Girls. We discovered that little store, and the owner said, I am sick of running this store. I have 3 little kids at home. I have to sell. We made her an offer. We bought it. And so we inherited a consignment shop. I didn't know anything about consignment. So I'm like, oh, this isn't my bag, I mean, I love clothing, but I didn't really like doing all the book work. So we evolved into a vintage shop. The corsets, the old-fashioned clothing, everything went with the hats, and it just sort of manifested by itself. It was the way the universe intended it to be.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, just because I was an author first and I like to leave people on a perfect cliffhanger, if you don't mind, we'll take a couple-minute break and then we'll do part 2, which will be in next week's edition. And basically, we'll kind of like bring things up to the, as far as like you did have one store and then it closed down. So we'll bring things up, everybody up to speed on the present. If that's okay with